Tonight on CTV News at 6, the Edmonton election from different angles. From missed ballots to a new mayor and the money some spent per vote.
I think what we saw here is a rejection of Tim Cartmel.
It's absolutely no different than carrying a weapon.
A plea for safety when celebrating with fireworks.
Please think of other people. This is not a controlled environment.
And
Ruth's remains are believed to have been placed into the wood-lined well.
why Edmonton police believe they're getting closer to solving a decades-old disappearance.
Temperatures into the mid-teens today, and it gets even warmer for tomorrow and Friday.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. We begin with breaking news after Edmonton elections held a recount for the council race in Sipawiniwak. Preliminary results show Parmar is now leading with 30% of the vote. Before the recount, just 6 votes separated Better Edmonton candidate Daryl Friesen from Parmar, with Friesen in the lead. Parmar now leads by more than 600 votes. The seat was vacated by Councillor Sarah Hamilton. The city says official results will be released by noon Friday. The city's elections department is also counting ballots from 3 voting substations it says were not initially tallied. Edmonton Elections says it affects the city council counts in 3 different wards. A spokesperson did not say how many ballots were missed or why. And big money in political parties made Monday's election stand out from past votes. Andrew Knack won the mayor's race despite being outspent at least 5-1 by his main rival. Some observers say voters rejected party politics. One analyst believes Better Edmonton's performance should be considered a success. Jeremy Thompson reports.
In his victory speech, Edmonton's new mayor-elect said voters sent a clear message on Election Day.
Everyday Edmontonians spoke loud and clear, choosing optimism and hope over big money and party politics.
Big money refers to Andrew Knack's main rival, Tim Cartmel. Preliminary disclosures show Knack raised just under $200,000 by Election Day, while Cartmel had collected $850,000 at the end of July. It means Knack spent about $2.60 per vote he received, compared to $14.45 per vote for Cartmel.
And I think what we saw here is a rejection of Tim Cartmel. I just think that no amount of money in the world was going to make people vote for him.
Newly re-elected councillor Michael Jans says parties came up frequently at the doors.
I heard from many neighbors one of the first questions they asked was, are you part of a party? And if the answer was yes, the door closed.
Political advisor Najib Jutt isn't so sure voters rejected party politics.
I would argue from the viewpoint of Better Edmonton, this was a massive success for them.
While 9 people from the previous council will be returning to City Hall, including the mayor, 3 Better Edmonton candidates won, and there could be a 4th if Daryl Friesen's 6-vote victory survives a recount in West Edmonton.
If they win Sipawiniwak, that's a clean sweep of open wards.
Better Edmonton also finished second in 5 council races, earning more than 50,000 votes. Returning councillor Karen Principe says that support carries a message.
Tells me that they liked our vision. I think people could relate and understand, and they could see that really Better Edmonton was looking to represent the people of Edmonton and make the city a better Edmonton.
Meanwhile, Jutt believes the results don't reflect poorly on parties. Instead, they demonstrate the power of incumbency, even for an apparently unpopular council. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
The province wants to reimburse some Albertans for privately purchased diagnostic screening. The province says this option would deliver faster, more effective care, improve health outcomes, and reduce strain on the public healthcare system. Since 2023, CT scan waitlists have grown by 44%. MRI scan waitlists have grown by nearly 41%. The province says the private tests will be reimbursed if it reveals a significant or critical condition. However, in a video posted to social media, the Premier says only life-threatening conditions will be covered. Critics feel this new plan may not align with the Canada Health Act and is a step towards an American-style healthcare system.
We're basically seeing them committing to legislating a 2-tiered access to healthcare in Alberta, into escalating privatization, and a system where those with more money get to skip the queue while everyone else is left waiting. And we've seen over and over from this government, they announce one of these privatization schemes. They claim it'll increase access and save money. They do it, and neither of those things comes true.
The province says it will conduct stakeholder engagement on the proposal before legislation is introduced. The Alberta Medical Association says it's broken down the numbers, and the cost of deterring COVID-19 vaccination will likely be in the tens of millions. It says if even 5% of Albertans decide not to get vaccinated, the resulting hospitalizations are projected to cost more than $65 million. CTV's Nicole Weisberg reports.
You have reached Primary Care Alberta.
Getting through to book a COVID-19 vaccination appointment has been a challenge for some Albertans. CTV News called 811 intermittently throughout the day today and was met by this.
We are currently experiencing a higher than expected call volume, and all staff members are busy. Please try calling back later or book online.
Medical professionals say barriers like this and the fact this year many have to pay out of pocket to get the shot will no doubt lead to less uptake.
Paying your rent, eating versus, getting a vaccine. I think people are going to choose, the things that they see right in front of them on a day-to-day basis.
The Alberta Medical Association says people foregoing vaccination comes at a significant cost to taxpayers for added hospital bills and the impacts of complications on the healthcare system.
We know that Albertans who are unvaccinated in previous years for COVID were 10 times more likely to be hospitalized, 20 times more likely to be hospitalized compared to people who had a booster.
The AMA estimates if even 5% of Albertans, or about 250,000 people, aren't vaccinated, it would mean more than $65 million in spending on hospitalizations alone. At 10%, the costs rise to $131 million, and at 20%, $262 million. The numbers are based on a 15% infection risk, a plausible scenario, the AMA says, based on wastewater data from August 2024.
So if your goal is what the government is saying it is, to reduce wastage and support responsible spending, then what you do is you buy a vaccine for every Albertan who would qualify. And then you connect it with a robust communication plan.
The province says its approach is in line with guidance from the National Advisory Committee on Immunization, which suggests COVID-19 vaccination should be considered optional for healthy non-senior adults. And the committee cites analysis showing universal COVID vaccination would not be cost-effective at this point. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Alberta Teachers Association says the government plans to legislate teachers back to work. Labor relations experts say they are watching closely to see how the government writes the legislation and how the union responds. CTV's Stephanie Thomas reports.
Carrie Forster has been on strike and away from her grade 1 classroom in Airdrie to demand changes in education.
So there's a lot of complexities. There's a lot of kids. We're doing body break and we couldn't even move properly. And I found that for a veteran teacher overwhelming.
She hopes that an agreement can be reached at the bargaining table before the province legislates an end to the strike and to justify her unpaid time spent away from her passion as a teacher.
Government wants to kind of brush it under the carpet and just mandate us back and not deal with it.
The Alberta Teachers Association says it's preparing for the government to legislate teachers back to work. The legislature resumes the fall session on Thursday. The union is already speaking with lawyers on how to respond. One sticking point for them is classroom sizes and the student-teacher ratio.
There's only 2 provinces in the whole country that doesn't have any kind of protections within a collective agreement around class sizes and student-teacher ratios.
One labor relations expert says he is watching closely to see what the union may do after legislation is tabled and whether teachers fall in.
And for the union, there's a risk that they might turn on the union, because their frustration's got to go somewhere. So it's either going to go up against the employer and the government, or it might go against the union. So if the union's wise, they would be channeling that anger towards the provincial government, which is probably not that hard.
The Alberta Federation of Labour says other unions under negotiations are also prepared to rally against the province.
They can't just use their legislative power to impose a contract without negotiation. That breaks the Constitution.
Legislation would likely pass through quickly, despite the NDP's plans to block it.
It violates their right to actually advocate for themselves and for their students and for their co-workers, and it doesn't solve the problem.
3 decades after the suspicious disappearance of an Edmonton senior, investigators believe they're getting closer to finding her remains. It's believed her body was hidden in an old well north of the city. As Amanda Anderson reports, police need help to find her.
She was always a favorite aunt of ours.
An aunt who disappeared 35 years ago.
She was a nurse for many years, and she was a very caring, compassionate person. Always a very sweet lady, quite shy.
The last time anyone saw or heard from 83-year-old Ruth Clark was November 1st, 1990. Nearly 2 weeks later, police were called for a welfare check at the home she shared with her 42-year-old son in the area of 154th Street and 109th Avenue. It wasn't long before investigators suspected foul play in her disappearance and that she'd likely been murdered.
There was a suspect in the original investigation, and we do believe we know who killed Ruth. Unfortunately, because criminal charges have not been laid, we cannot release that name to the public.
Police now believe Clark's body was dumped quite a distance away from this neighborhood she once called home. They've been searching a large area about an hour north of St. Albert.
New information, which is compelling, led us to these searches.
Police won't say where the information came from, only that they believe Clark's body was hidden in an old well.
On a farmstead where trails lead through brush to 2 old hand-dug water wells. The wells are up to 50 to 60 feet deep, one lined with wood and the other lined with brick.
Police say the wells could be filled or covered with debris. They could also be partially collapsed.
Ruth's remains are believed to have been placed into the wood-lined well.
So far, investigators haven't been able to locate the right well, saying there's likely hundreds in the search area. It's why they're asking anyone with an old hand-dug well to contact them. Clark's son was not at the news conference, but for the family that was, finding her will not only bring closure, but allow them to give her a proper burial.
It is our family's hope that we can lay her to rest next to her husband, which is what she wanted.
Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
In an ongoing effort to prevent and end homelessness, Homeward Trust Edmonton held its 26th annual point-in-time count today. The initiative measures the number of our city's most vulnerable. It's comprised of a street count, shelter and transitional housing numbers, plus data from other services and systems gathered over a 24-hour period. The count offers a snapshot reflecting the minimum number of people who are homeless in our city.
Those numbers really help us inform policy, advocacy, all of those different pieces that we can really get a good picture, as well as it really supports what we're advocating for in the community.
Red Road's housing director says the current trends don't always reflect the future and strategies must account for that. Edmonton Fire says they responded to 60 calls reporting illegal fireworks last night, in addition to Monday night's fire on the south side that caused hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. Police and community leaders are urging people to be safer celebrating Diwali. CTV's Connor Hogg has more.
This is horrible. This is horrible.
Wendy Berdal is visiting her daughter Cassidy Moreno at a difficult time. Moreno shot this video from her kitchen Monday night.
Well, I'm looking out my kitchen window. The neighbor behind us is shooting off fireworks from their backyard. I was terrified. You can see how close it is. Right here, I have a huge tree that could have went up in flames.
Half an hour later, Moreno says the house next to hers was on fire, and her home suffered damage as well. Edmonton Fire says that an estimated $175,000 in damage was caused.
I didn't know what to do. Just grabbed my dog and got out of my house.
We spoke with a man who lives in the home that backs onto this one. He says he's one of the 3 adults that was arrested and charged in connection with this fire. He says that there were no fireworks being shot off in the backyard and that he's looking forward to seeing evidence that shows that the fire originated from the property he lives on.
For the last few years, the authorities have been telling the public, they giving their message around that they have to follow certain procedures. But I think it's not getting through, or the people are not trying to obey them.
Desh Punjabi radio host Kulmeet Sangha says laws should be stricter surrounding the sale of fireworks in Edmonton. It's legal to buy them, but illegal to set them off without a certified professional and a permit. Senga says many newcomers aren't aware that homes in Canada are made with more flammable materials than in India, where he says concrete and brick are the norm. He says fireworks at home should not be necessary to celebrate Diwali.
Just light up the light, around your house, or, that's the main thing. People should be aware that if we don't follow the law, we're going to end up with this.
Edmonton police issued a statement Wednesday in English, Hindu, and Punjabi translations, urging Edmontonians to celebrate Diwali safely.
Please think of other people. This is not a controlled environment.
Anybody that shoots off fireworks is absolutely no different than carrying a weapon.
Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
A career milestone for a new Edmonton Oiler last night in Ottawa, Ike Howard's first NHL goal.
And now another turnover, Draisaitl again to the net. One-timer score! Absolutely buried by Isaac Howard. And it's the first of his...
We're joined the Oilers from Tampa Bay last season after a strong college hockey career. Howard's goal wasn't quite enough for the win. Edmonton needed overtime to defeat the Senators 3-2. Josh, more wind, more warmth today?
Yeah, gusts have been 30 to 40 kilometers per hour for most of this afternoon, but 15 degrees for a daytime high. We're currently sitting at 14 downtown, and the latest wind speeds just came in. You can see we've, at least for the time being, had the gusts drop off. Winds out of the southeast about 15 kilometers per hour. Still a little gusty there northwest of the city, gusts to about 30 kilometers per hour. I think between now and 9 p.m. we may still occasionally see some gusts. And then overnight tonight, the wind will die down. And yeah, calmer day on the way for tomorrow. Calmer conditions as well for Friday. And as mentioned right off the top of the newscast, even warmer tomorrow and Friday, close to 20 on Friday. 15 puts us 6 degrees above average today, although it was a frosty start, -4 early this morning here in the city. It's been blue skies pretty much all day today. Take a look outside right now with the CTV drone, and yeah, still mainly clear. There's a little bit of cloud cover there way off on the horizon, but nothing significant, nothing that'll give us any precipitation this evening. There is a chance, a slight chance, overnight tonight, after midnight, to maybe see a little sprinkle in and around the Edmonton area. Most of that's going to be north of the city, though. You can see we've got some rain right now developing just off to the south and southeast of Grand Prairie. That will track east-northeast through the rest of this evening and overnight tonight. So we will see some increased cloud cover around midnight into the early morning hours of tomorrow, and 4 degrees above zero, as opposed to the -4 that we had this morning. So it will not be a frosty morning tomorrow, up to about 16 or 17 tomorrow afternoon under mainly sunny skies. And there's your wind, 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. Should be a beautiful day tomorrow. Nice day on Friday as well, and then things take a bit of a turn through the weekend. Those details still to come.
Sounds good. Thank you, Josh. Still ahead on CTV News at 6, a new scam is on the rise.
There's a couple people in the office actually here that has received that same or similar message with regards to a traffic violation.
How much scams are costing Edmontonians and what you can do to protect yourself. Plus,
make a world of a difference to those living on the streets.
The Edmonton Oil Kings are asking fans for sock donations. Stay with us.
Thursday on your morning, Halloween safety, avoiding trick-or-treating pitfalls, staying allergy safe, and the risk of watching scary movies when you're too young.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
All kinds of text scams are circulating across the country. Police say Canadians lose millions of dollars every year to scammers. And as Merrick DeCash has learned, a new scam is on the rise.
A traffic ticket is usually issued roadside or comes in the mail. But lately, people are getting fake tickets like these ones texted to them.
There's a couple people in the office actually here that has received that same or similar message with regards to a traffic violation.
Both of these messages are demanding payment for a ticket that doesn't exist. This one says the vehicle was traveling 56 kilometers an hour. A similar message says 64 kilometers an hour. Both were sent from different phone numbers.
Smishing is more or less just fishing for victims and throwing out a big wide net, but smishing refers directly to SMS text messaging, which is typically what you and I would text message through.
Some people we spoke with today knew about the traffic ticket scam, while others had no clue.
I get 5 to 6 texts or calls per day on my phone with different types of scams.
It's full of scammers right now, but that one, no, I didn't hear about that one yet.
The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre is aware of the fairly new traffic ticket scam.
We know that fraudsters are constantly evolving. They follow headlines and they copy the look and tone of real agencies, right?
The Edmonton Police Service says $48.1 million was lost to scams in 2024. The Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre says $645 million was lost countrywide in 2024. With AI technology on the rise, police say fraud will be on the rise too.
That means it's going to get used more and more in scams that people are going to get across their phones or their cell phone.
The best way you can protect yourself from this type of fraud is by never clicking on a link from an unrecognized number. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
The Edmonton Oil Kings are asking fans to bring an extra pair of socks to this weekend's games. The team is partnering with the Operation Friendship Senior Society for its annual Socktober campaign. People attending Saturday or Sunday's games are encouraged to bring a brand new pair of socks to drop in the donation boxes. Organizers say it's a simple item that can provide warmth as well as hope.
This is the time to think of that and a basic necessity item such as socks that we put on our feet every day that maybe you or I take for granted can make a world of a difference to those living on the streets.
The campaign is hoping to collect 10,000 pairs of socks by the end of the month. With each donation, Oil Kings fans will get a voucher for 2 tickets to the team's November 30th home game against Saskatoon. Still ahead, a Calgary pug has become Alberta's most unlikely bartender.
She has received the training just like any other server or bartender in the province of Alberta.
The certification exposed flaws in how the province certifies people to serve alcohol. Plus,
I'm surprised Mount Lahi didn't make it into the Final Four.
First vote is in. Which contenders remain for Alberta's new license plate?
Warm tomorrow. Even warmer Friday, and then a bit of a change for the weekend as things cool down and a good chance of precipitation. We'll talk about all that right after the break.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Dog named Phoebe fetched more than laughs after she became Alberta's newest and most unlikely certified bartender. As CTV's Kevin Green explains, it raised serious concerns about Alberta's ProServe certification.
Meet Phoebe, the only dog actually qualified to be behind the bar. She's 57 in dog years and successfully obtained Alberta's mandatory ProServe certification, the same training required for humans who serve alcohol.
Very proud. You know, she's been leeching off us for about 9 years, and it's about time that she's able to step out in the workforce and pay some bills.
You're reaching through. Sure. All joking aside, Phoebe's certification raises serious questions about the integrity of the system managed by the Alberta Gaming, Liquor and Cannabis Commission, which is why Cognizance, a training and assessment security company, recruited Phoebe to challenge the test.
We think of how long this program has been in place. We need the systems to be checked to make sure it's meeting the intent. Otherwise, it ends up just being a tax on the time and the money of Albertans.
Phoebe's owner used AI to take and pass the test. That it can be so easily fooled is no big shock to those working in the industry.
Do you know, not particularly surprised. It's unsupervised, so anybody could do it. I could send it over to my mum in Scotland and she could complete the course for me.
ProServe testing is designed to ensure those working with alcohol understand their legal and safety requirements. If tests can easily be bypassed, that's a big problem, says Mad Canada.
To hear about situations where the
the system can be bypassed or cheated. And so people who are getting their certificates really haven't done the work. It's concerning because I think it ultimately puts everybody at risk.
AGLC admits it doesn't require identification and expects employers to be sure staff are compliant. In a statement to CTV, a spokesperson wrote, employers are required to maintain accurate personnel records and are responsible for verifying the identity of the individual. AGLC can also revoke ProServe certification, which is what happened after CTV inquired about how Phoebe got hers. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
The second round of voting for Alberta's new license plate is now live, with just 4 plates left to choose between. Last week, the province introduced 8 new options and asked Albertans to take part in a tournament-style online vote. The final 4 include Moraine Lake, an Alberta flag with mountains, the standard red on white, and a ranching cowboy and pump jack. Service Alberta Minister Dale Nally says 150,000 Albertans have voted so far. Well, he's not surprised the traditional red and white plate made it to the next round. He's surprised his favorite didn't.
I'm surprised Mount Loughy didn't make it into the Final Four. It was close, but yeah, it did not make the cut. Why not? You'd have to ask Albertans.
In addition to the new images, the plates feature a wild rose flower and a new slogan, strong and free. To vote, head to alberta.ca/pick-a-plate. The new design will be announced mid-November.
That's how I like my coffee, strong and free.
Perfect. Yeah, me too. What a coincidence. Why not Oilers Place? You know, those Oilers Plate for the whole province.
No.
Even Calgary. They'd love it.
No. I don't care. I took the plates off my car a long time ago. Don't need them. Take a look outside right now. Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace fixed rider, it's free. 14 degrees. After hitting 15 for a daytime high today, 12 in Fort McMurray, it's 13 in Grand Prairie, 14 in Red Deer right now. You can see the cloud cover arching up to the north. There's your upper ridge at play. We do have some showers that have started to make their way onto the eastern side of the Rockies there, just off to the south and southeast of Grand Prairie. And as we were mentioning earlier in the newscast, most, if not all of this, will stay north of the Edmonton area as it moves east-northeast tonight. There's a slight chance you may see a scattered shower after midnight. There's what you're seeing on Skycam and through the drone there, just a little bit of thin cloud cover, but clouds are going to break pretty quickly. Let's take you through the overnight period. Here's 4 a.m. There's that line of really narrow line of showers. Slight chance, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you might see a little sprinkle in the city. I think for the most part, it's just a little bit of cloud cover that's out of here by 7 or 8 a.m. So mainly sunny skies right through the day tomorrow, and sunshine for most of the day Friday as well. Late in the day, we'll start to see some snow, higher elevations through the mountain parks, a little bit of cloud cover building up off to the west. There's a new low pressure system that's going to spin up here on the back edge of the upper ridge. So this is early Saturday morning from around Edmonton off to the north. You get a chance of some showers, and then I think we'll actually see some sunny breaks in the afternoon as that low pressure system and the rain moves off to the northeast. Watch, here's the upper ridge, kind of sneaks off to the southeast. We're still in a really warm southwesterly flow, though, for Friday. Friday will be close to 20 for a daytime high. It'll be the warmest day this week. Saturday, there's that low kind of riding right along the back edge of this. So the jet stream's running southwest to northeast on the back edge of this ridge. This goes off to the northeast, and a new one develops, and that one's Sunday. You get this cooler air aloft that's supporting that system. I think that one has a much better chance at producing some showers or some periods of rain in the Edmonton area, and the potential is even there for a little bit of wet snow late in the day Sunday. So we'll see how this plays out, but I think it's very likely that at some point this weekend, probably Sunday, we get at least some rain. 8 degrees in Fort McMurray right now. It's 11 in Grand Prairie and Red Deer. We're at 14 in Edmonton, and the wind, as we mentioned, for the time being has died down. You may see a few gusts briefly over the next hour or two. For the most part, though, the wind is going to stay fairly light overnight and right through tomorrow. It's out of the south-southwest at about 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. 4 degrees tomorrow morning. Big change from this morning when we were at -4 and up to about 16 or 17 tomorrow afternoon. 18 or 19 with mainly sunny skies on Friday. And again, the wind should be fairly light. Mix of sun and cloud for Saturday. It does start to cool off. So the precipitation yet to be determined and pretty iffy, but certainly cooler for Saturday. And then back into single digits, it looks like, for Sunday, Monday. And we'll stay in that 5 to 10 degree range for daytime highs right through to the end of next week.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Edmonton's Southside Athletic Club honored the memory of one of its coaches last night. Moment of silence for head coach John Sexsmith before his team's first game since his death last week. The longtime Edmonton sports broadcaster was also a well-known and accomplished youth hockey coach. Sexsmith fought a 13-year battle with prostate cancer. Still ahead, Russian bombs hit a Ukrainian kindergarten. An intense attack as ceasefire talks fail to start, and
I think that it's anybody's game, and I think the Jays are the underdogs, and the underdogs always come out.
A World Series preview, how the Jays and Dodgers stack up. Stay with us. Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney wrapping up a live address this hour on Canada's plan to build a stronger economy with an ambitious promise.
Our goal for Canada is to double our non-U.S. exports over the course of the next decade, generating more than $300 billion more in trade, and that's new orders for Canadian resources, technologies, and expertise.
Carney says the core of his government strategy in the upcoming budget will be to spur unprecedented investments in Canada. The Carney government's first budget is set to be tabled on November the 4th. An Albertan has joined a delegation of people with first-hand wildfire experience in Ottawa to demand action.
Because it's not only about putting out fires, it's also about preventing the next ones.
After another record-breaking wildfire season across the country, the group wants the federal government to recognize its time wildfire response change to protect Canadians. They're asking wildfire training and equipment funding be doubled for sustained year-round federal leadership in wildfire readiness and response, as well as tackling what they say is the root cause by investing in clean power. Therese Greenwood was an evacuee of the 2016 Fort McMurray wildfire. She showed off her lucky pen, one of the only things she took with her after the fire.
But I didn't think that almost 10 years after the Fort McMurray wildfire, I would still be writing about what it's like to evacuate your home. But climate change actually means things have gotten worse in the last 10 years. And the only thing I can do to help them is to use my lucky pen. And I write and tell my story to decision makers and the media about the need for increased federal support for a national problem.
The group met with federal officials presenting petitions from thousands of Canadians for change. Russia ramped up strikes across Ukraine overnight, just hours after a summit between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump was called off. This attack hit near an apartment building in the Ukrainian city of Sumy. Across Ukraine, at least 6 people were killed in the assaults, with one of the attacks striking a kindergarten in Kharkiv. Witnesses described scenes of panic with young children crying for their parents. The building was evacuated and 48 children were taken to a safe location. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the attacks prove Moscow has not felt enough pressure to end the war. Meanwhile, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance met with Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu today to discuss the preservation of the fragile Gaza ceasefire.
It's not easy. I never said it was easy, but what I am is optimistic that the ceasefire is going to hold and that we can actually build a better future in the entire Middle East.
That suggested an international security force could maintain peace in Gaza. However, before the meeting, Netanyahu said Israel is not an American protectorate and his country would have final say over their own security. 3 days after a high-profile heist left France without its crown jewels, the Louvre reopened in Paris to long lines. The world's most visited museum closed Sunday. That's when hooded thieves broke into a second-floor window and made off with historic royal jewelry worth an estimated $143 million. French President Emmanuel Macron ordered tighter security as the doors reopened. The Apollo Gallery, where the heist took place, remains closed. The Louvre's director admitted today the museum wasn't able to sufficiently detect the robbers in advance. Scores of investigators are looking for the culprits and the 8 pieces stolen. Friday can't come soon enough for the Toronto Blue Jays and their fans. That's when the team takes on defending champion LA Dodgers. So how do those two teams stack up? CTV's Heather Wright looks at the numbers.
Tinseltown versus Hogtown. Hollywood versus, well, Hollywood North. The World Series heads to Toronto this week. 2 teams, 2 cities, but only 1 champion.
Nervous, a little bit of an upset tummy, but
think we can do it. I think the Blue Jays have more spirit. They play like the team is even all the way down from 1 to 9, and they play like a team.
As they were at the start of the season, the Dodgers are the betting favorites to win their second World Series title in as many years.
She's gone!
Well, the Blue Jays have gone from worst to first, finishing dead last in the American League in 2024 to winning it all this year.
I think that it's anybody's game, and I think the Jays are the underdogs, and the underdogs always come out.
The LA Dodgers have won 8 World Series in their history compared to 2 for the Toronto Blue Jays. And when it comes to payroll, both teams may be big spenders, but LA has doled out far more cash for stars like Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts.
The Dodgers' payroll is closer to $350 million, whereas the Blue Jays is about $250. So $100 million. That's a huge gap, right? That's another Shohei Ohtani or two, right? That they can afford with that difference.
And while the Dodgers took the season series against the Blue Jays 2-1, the Jays have the better regular season record and have earned home field advantage because of it, which at least one statistician says gives the Jays a slight edge.
When I did a simple statistical model and just tried to put it all together, I'm currently estimating Toronto with a 52.46% chance of winning the World Series.
At the end of the day, though, there really is only one number that matters, and that is 4. 4 games to win the World Series. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Canada's new PWHL team unveiled its jerseys for its inaugural season. Vancouver forward Ashton Bell and goalie Kristen Campbell showed off the jerseys the team will wear when they play their home opener next month. The sweaters have Vancouver stitched diagonally down the front. The color palette of blue, cream, and bronze is meant to represent Vancouver's natural landscape. The PWHL expanded to add Vancouver and Seattle for the upcoming season. Still ahead, breast cancer screening.
I sat on it for a long time, hoping that it would go away.
A survivor urges early mammograms. Plus,
it creates a lot of excitement for patients, but also the parents, because they're also frustrated with the disease.
An eczema cream is providing relief for young children. At the markets, the Canadian dollar holding steady near 71 cents U.S. Oil was up $1.26, closing the day at $58.50 U.S. a barrel. Gold lost nearly $44 on the day. The TSX finished higher, gaining 94 points. The Dow Jones down 334. It's estimated about 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer in their lifetime. As many Canadian provinces like Ontario drop the routine screening to age 40, one cancer survivor is urging people to book an appointment. CTV's Sarah Plowman reports.
At 34, Alicia Bryan noticed a lump in her breast.
And I sat on it for a long time, hoping that it would go away.
That lump didn't leave. A mammogram and biopsy revealed what she had feared.
It came back with a positive diagnosis for cancer, for stage 3 breast cancer in my right breast.
Surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation followed. For 3 years, she's been in remission. As more provinces open up routine breast cancer screening to women in their 40s, she's urging people to go.
Go and do the test. Go and do it scared. Get it out of the way.
At what age routine screening should start has been hotly debated. Current Canadian guidelines recommend 50, but many provinces, including Ontario, have dropped the age to 40. Since Ontario's program expanded last October, about 184,000 women in their 40s have been screened. That's about 18% of women in that age group.
Usually in a screening program, we aim for 70% of women being screened, but we have not achieved that yet, especially for the women 40 to 49, because there has been a lot of controversy about the guidelines.
At the Ottawa Hospital, women in their 40s are now getting screened in similar numbers as those in their 50s and 60s.
This really indicated that there was a pent-up demand, and I am diagnosing cancer, early breast cancer, in these young women.
Bryan is thankful her cancer was found, removed, and treated.
It's the putting it off and not getting screened is where it becomes dangerous.
A message she hopes is heard. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
In Alberta, regular mammograms are recommended starting at age 45. A new topical cream recently approved by Health Canada is bringing relief to Albertans struggling with eczema. The ointment called Opzelura is now approved for use in children as young as 2. The new treatment targets mild to moderate eczema, a chronic skin condition that causes redness, dryness, and intense itching. Calgary dermatologist Dr. Aleem Devani helped lead a clinical trial of 500 patients across North America that showed significant improvement after just 8 weeks of treatment.
It creates a lot of excitement for patients, but also the parents, because they're also frustrated with the disease. Their child isn't sleeping. They're constantly itching. They have psychosocial or psychological impacts to the disease. So giving a new novel treatment that is highly effective is a huge step forward.
The Eczema Society of Canada says Alberta's dry climate can worsen flare-ups for some patients. Statistics Canada is in Alberta gathering data for a national health survey. An examination centre is set up in Calgary. About 850 households will be randomly chosen to take part. They'll be asked to provide information like height, weight, blood pressure, and give blood and urine samples. The voluntary program, covering everyone from 1 to 79 years old, will gather a great deal of information.
You would learn a lot of information about yourself. We run, over 100 blood tests, a lot of things that you might not get at your doctor. So there's a lot of information that people can learn about themselves, and they're more than welcome to share that information with their doctors if they'd like to, if they ever want to follow up on something.
Data is being collected across the country until spring 2027. Coming up, the National Lacrosse League is coming to Edmonton.
Hopefully we have thousands of fans that leave that event saying, okay, we want more.
What the game could mean for the city. Stay with us.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Edmonton, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Programming brought to you by Southview Acura. For family-owned, award-winning excellence, Southview Acura, where luxury meets reality.
Edmonton will host a National Lacrosse League game next year. The league is bringing its 2026 Unboxed Series event to Rogers Place January 16th. The regular season game will be between the Calgary Roughnecks and Georgia Swarm. Edmonton was part of the NLL from 2006 to 2015. The Edmonton Rush won a championship in their final year before the owner moved them to Saskatoon. The league's commissioner says this could lead to bigger opportunities for Edmonton to host a team again.
Hopefully we have thousands of fans that leave that event saying, okay, we want more. And that, downstream very potentially turns into different conversations. But yeah, excited to be back in Edmonton. It's certainly a target market of ours.
Tickets go on sale this Friday. And due to high demand, Rush has added a second show in our city. Earlier this week, the band announced one show, December 10th, 2026. Oilers Entertainment Group says a second date is now added, December the 12th. Tickets for the tour go on sale on October the 31st.
Another warm one tomorrow, 15 degrees today. Should be 4 degrees above zero for a morning low tomorrow. And then sunny, light wind, and 16. 18 or 19 with some sunshine Friday, and then things take a little bit of a turn. Still decent Saturday, about 12 degrees, mixed sun and cloud. Just a slight chance of a shower, especially early in the day. Sunday looks like it's going to be a little on the wet side, and temperatures in the 5 to 10 degree range from Sunday right through to early November.
All right, thanks, Josh, and thanks for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, visit ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Have a great evening.